Cotton, an important agricultural commodity in Africa. This cash crop is grown in at least 37 of the continent's 54 countries. About 30 of these cotton-producing countries export the crop to parts of the world. The global market for cotton stands at over 1.6 trillion naira, and Africa's market share is just 16% of this figure. Asia and Pacific nations account for 60% of the global textiles market. In West Africa, cotton production is yet to help improve incomes of the local people. In Burkina Faso, for example, where commodity export is over 70%, cotton ranks low in poverty reduction and development. Nigeria was once a major cotton producer like Burkina Faso, but things changed with declining attention to production by government. At one time, cotton production contributed 25% to Nigeria's gross domestic product, but now, lack of improved seeds, poor access to extension services, low cotton prices, and most significantly, the infestation of the pink bollworm, scientifically known as the Pectinophora gossypiella, has negatively affected yields.
Nigeria was one of the largest exporters or producers of cotton in the world. But all of a sudden, we lost all that. I remember in the 1960s and 1970s, the textile industry was the second largest employer of labor in our country after government at that time. But today, that is no longer the situation.
The pink bollworm, if it attacks your farm, you tend to lose 70 to 80% of your crop. So to say that it's not damaging will be, we are not telling the truth. So yes, it's been devastating. And I think that's why there is a need to deliberately find a solution. So yes, it is a problem that needs to be dealt with.
The pink bollworm is a highly destructive cosmopolitan pest and the most devastating lepidopteran pest of cotton. Its female moths lay eggs on cotton plants, while its larva digs into cotton balls and eats the seeds. The losses from this pest infestation at cotton farms cost Nigeria about 6.5 billion naira export opportunities. It is also responsible for why Nigeria imports $4 billion of textiles on an annual basis. These cotton farmers in parts of northern Nigeria share their stories.
I have been farming cotton for several years, but my yields and profit have been badly affected by the pink bollworm. I need urgent solution to this problem so I can have better yields. I have not been able to benefit much from farming cotton because the pink bollworm always infests my cotton plantation. I always spray chemicals, but it doesn't help much. If I can get a approved variety that the insect cannot attack, I'll be glad.
You could spray against them, but then again, the typical farmer, does he have enough funds to buy the quantities of pesticide that he needs? Aside from that, will he actually apply it? And it continues that way. But if the BT cotton is genetically modified to be able to deal with the pink bollworm, then that's a major advantage to the farm.
South Africa is one African country where the BT cotton is being commercially grown, and the results have been highly impressive. The insect-resistant cotton was first grown in South Africa in 1997. Herbicide-tolerant cotton and double-stacked herbicide-tolerant insect-resistant cotton accounts for more than 95% of the cotton planted in the country.
Industry was very keen, industry being the farmers. They were very keen to see, they wanted to be enabled to use the technology to benefit their lives. In other words, they wanted to develop better crops that would help with pest resistance or herbicide tolerance. And so this was driven by the farmers and by industry because they could see a benefit to using the technology. So South Africa has not experienced any negative impact in terms of human health from our GM crops, and been no degradation of the environment that we've determined. In fact, we believe that GM crops are actually in some ways beneficial to the environment because you're not blanket spraying the environment and killing beneficial as well as the pest insects. So generally speaking, it's been a positive environmental experience for South Africa.
Several successful confined field trials for the BT cotton have been carried out in Nigeria. Farmers participated in these trials. The Nigerian Agricultural Authorities also visited the site to see how the crops are doing.
And that's if you are lucky that they are rich.
Following the conclusion of the field trials, the BT cotton has now been approved for commercial release. The approved varieties are the MRC 7377 BG2 and MRC 7361 BG2.
Bringing into cultivation this hybrid, the BT cotton, these two varieties, they become very important, extremely important, because it will not just help to reactivate the textile industry, but it's going to help us in job creation. It will also help us in poverty reduction. We must fight and defeat extreme poverty. There is no reason with the resources we have in our country to have extremely poor people. And there is no better way to fight it than for us to grow these raw materials, which we should not be exporting in their raw state. We should use science and technology to now convert them into the products, into the services that we need, into those things that we import from outside.
These two varieties of transgenic hybrid cotton are high-yielding and destructive to the pink bollworm.
Well, the destruction is basically based on the production of cryo protein, and there are the BT, which is Bacillus thuringiensis, houses millions of different types of genes. Each one is specific for a particular purpose, and the one for the bollworm is specific for it, so it won't affect even other insects, talk less of human beings. And the issue is the specificity in terms of the active site that needs to bind the protein, that particular protein, and of course that is when the gut of that particular insect, which is the larva, will be destroyed. So, and for humans, this is just a piece of cake. If we take that cryoprotein, we will digest it naturally, and it cannot affect us. So you say one man's honey is another man's poison. This happens to be a poison only to that particular insect.
The MRC 7377 BG2 and MRC 7361 BG2 have the qualities of medium time of maturity, lower fruiting bodies damage, and require little amounts of spray, among other benefits.
The type of cotton varieties they produce are long staple, which is a better variety than the one produced in Burkina Faso. And if you recall, one typical example I've been given is the experience of Burkina Faso, where they have short staple. But in this case, we have long. So we have a lot of advantage over other countries.
Because of the elimination of the devastating effect of the pest, which needs to be controlled by using pesticides. And then, of course, the elimination of the use of pesticides is also a big advantage. So farmers can return back to planting cotton without being too scared of the cost of the input. So reduced input cost, improved yield. When you put those together, it's a win-win for the farmer. The farmers can plant. They know they can make money. They know they will spend less in terms of input. And then also the fact that we have the early maturing ones, that will have an advantage at a period when the rainy season is not as long as it is expected. They will have harvested whatever they can have. So the two varieties that are there now, the early maturing and the late maturing, both of them have their different advantages, and the high yield is the winning thing that we attract farmers to using the BT.
The BT cotton is expected to give 24% increase in yields per acre and allow for a 50% profit by farmers. It is seen as the needed boost for cotton farming and the textile industry in Nigeria, a development that will create jobs and curb rise in crime by unemployed youths.
It is not just that our cotton farms are no longer as they used to be, but this has also affected job creation. All those who would have been growing cotton for us are not doing so. All those who will be participating in one form of processing or the other of cotton are no longer doing that. And we have many Nigerians who want to work and they can't find work.
Instead of the farmer doing 800 kg per hectare, if he can now do 4.5 tons, it makes sense to grow cotton. The beauty of this is that farmers are definitely going to start making money from everything they touch. So something is changing, and science is helping. So we won't run away from BT cotton just because we are afraid. We Africans fear too much.
Cotton farming groups in Nigeria, some with members who participated in the confined field trials, say they earnestly look forward to planting the BT cotton seeds.
Fantastic. I mean, the feedback has been good so far. No negatives yet. But, they are expanding the scope of the trials, which obviously will now get better perspectives on the benefits of BT cotton. But so far so good. Even the scientists have said it, that this is a good omen to Nigerian cotton. And the farmers that have demonstrated or have been part of the demonstration have also said that this is what they want and this would impact positively on their lives. The company that is the owner of the technology, they are already in the country. They are talking to cotton ginning companies. They are talking to farmers, they are talking to farmer groups. The idea there is to be able to say, okay, look, how do we approach this? How do we ensure that you have significant quantities available and to the right people? Because it's not just a matter of just spreading the seed, but to the right people. So the structure, including the government agencies that need to be involved, we are already talking. So I believe that by that April, let's just say March, April, May at the latest, we will have the quantities that we require. Well, no, we will know the quantities that are available.
The farmers are amenable to the use of that seed. Once it's available and it should be bought, once it's available, we'll buy it. So the farmers are poised to use that thing to better their lot. So we welcome the idea, and then we look forward to its availability in the market so that we can use it. To that extent, yes, we are ready. We are placing ourselves ready to buy.
Scientists are sure that the same technology used in the production of vaccines and medicine is used for genetic modification in agriculture, and the BT cotton is perfectly safe for the environment.
In both cases, you try to manipulate the gene by picking exactly that particular factor you want to adopt, which gives you what you want. You want to protect, say, against polio. You are going specifically for the gene that enables you to protect against polio. It's same thing in crops. You want to produce crops that are resistant to drought resistant. You go specifically and you pick the gene that enables the plant to be drought resistant. So the technology, there is no difference whatsoever, except that of course in humans, normally a little bit more care is taken with regards to purification and so on. But the technology is basically fundamentally the same.
Cotton farming in Nigeria has witnessed continuous decline in production, with contribution to GDP dropping from 25% to about 4%. Nigeria is estimated to be losing about $6.5 billion export opportunities in cotton annually. The country also spends $4 billion annually importing textiles and ready-made clothes. Scientists are positive that the country could regain these economic losses to low cotton farming with the emergence of the BT cotton varieties.